Hello there. It's been a while. Have you lost weight? Because you look the same. Saw Week! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Not only is it the month of October, the time for ghoulies, creepies, and long legged beasties, but it's also time for Taft Studios to proudly present the second annual Saw Week. Saw Week 2, Son of Jigsaw. And last year, I couldn't get to talk about the new film Jigsaw, which came out in 2017, 7 years after Saw 3D, the final chapter. Which, as any good horror fan knows, anytime there's the word final at the end of a movie, it's not the end. But enough of this hogwash procrastinating. Let's talk about Jigsaw. It was terrible. 10 out of 10. Now, one of the main problems I have with Jigsaw is I don't understand why they felt the need to introduce a fourth apprentice of Jigsaw. That to me made no sense. While watching the movie, I really was expecting to see Dr. Gordon walk out in the middle of the room and say, "Hey, everybody, I'm continuing Jigsaw's legacy because I can get things done, unlike Amanda and Detective Hoffman." So, I don't know why they introduced Logan Nelson as the fourth apprentice. And according to the movie, he was actually in the very first trap that Jigsaw ever built, which is another thing that boggles my mind because if we're going to look at the timeline correctly, then that would mean that Jigsaw takes place before the first Saw film. So I don't know how he went from elaborate traps in a barn to throwing a fat guy in a cage surrounded by barbed wire, or covering a naked guy in flammable goo and forcing him to look around the room with a candle to find the combination to a safe. It makes no sense how you go from, elaborate traps like that to Jigsaw just saying, "You know what, for my next trap, I'm going to put two guys in a bathroom." It makes no sense. So, timeline wise, the movie didn't make any sense. I got really upset when Jigsaw actually showed up. I was like, the guy's been dead since Saw 3. I understand he's the face of the franchise, but at this point, there's really no need for us to see him anymore. Like I said, they easily could have gotten Dr. Gordon to make an appearance and say, "I'm carrying on the legacy." And they easily could have hinted at Logan Nelson being the very first victim, and now it's him and Dr. Gordon working together. Because Dr. Gordon could find Logan Nelson and say, "Hey, you were one of his first victims. Let's get together and continue his legacy." They didn't do that. I was at least hoping for a reboot, but that didn't happen either. Uh, this film hurts me. I'm a huge, just a mega fan of the Saw franchise, but like any good horror franchise, eventually there's going to be times where it just drops, and hopefully it'll pick up again because thanks to Jigsaw being a huge success, they've already greenlit two sequels, so I'm really hoping that with the two sequels, we're either going to get a reboot or Dr. Gordon will make an appearance once more and say, "Yeah, I'm the new mastermind behind it. I'm now the new face of Saw." I would be willing and I would lovingly embrace that, accept it, but oh, this movie hurts. Not as bad as 3D, but it still hurts. But like I said, like every good franchise, I mean, look what they did to Michael Myers, Jason. I mean, he went to New York, but he was only there for like what? Like the last 30, 20 minutes of the film, I think. I don't. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But hopefully, this will, within the two sequels, hopefully it'll get better. It'll make sense. Uh, but until then, all I could do is just sit back and hope. And, well, if the film doesn't come out the way I want it to, I've always got my imagination, which only serves to satisfy me. It's either that or I write fan fiction, and quite frankly, I'm capable of doing both. Okay, so I don't want this whole video to be a bit of a downer. And like I said last year during Saw Week, I'm not here to bury it, I'm here to praise it. Uh, the one part I did like about Jigsaw was that there was a fangirl of the series who actually had a bunch of the Jigsaw traps. She said some were replicas and others were real. So it was really interesting to actually see uh, somebody, just geeking out over all the stuff. I mean, imagine if you're watching a Friday the 13th film and all of a sudden somebody like recreated a cabin of Camp Crystal Lake in the film and they got machetes and hockey masks and sleeping bags and even like Camp Crystal Lake shirts. I mean, it was really cool to see. I liked that. Let's see, what else did I like? Oh, I really liked Logan Nelson's story. As much as I hate him being a secret fourth apprentice, I did like his story. It made a lot of sense. The whole thing was just set up. Detective, I think his name was Holleran, uh, who was a dirty cop who would actually plant evidence and let the guilty people just get away. Well, one of the bad guys that he let escape by planting evidence on someone else actually killed Logan Nelson's wife. So now he's getting revenge on him. So he's trying to lure him to the barnyard to get him to confess and then kill him. Which sadly does not fit the Jigsaw motif, which is Jigsaw does not want to kill people. He wants them to learn. He wants to teach them a lesson so they can appreciate life. So, right off the bat, Logan's not doing a good job. I just went back into downer mode. And I was doing so well, too. All in all, I don't regret seeing this film. I'm really glad I did get to see it because even through its faults, I still enjoy being able to see another Saw film. So at the end of the day, I guess that's what counts. I don't know. It's really hard for me to love this movie or to even. I'm trying really hard, guys. It's just Jigsaw didn't give me a whole lot to work with. I wanted to love it, but it just wouldn't let me. It's. You know what? Let's end on a positive note. It was great to see Tobin Bell come back to play Jigsaw again. And hey, we still have those other two sequels to look forward to. Hopefully, those will fix the franchise or at least take it to a place where it deserves to be. At this point, I'd welcome a reboot. So, I'm going to go ahead and end it right there. That's a really good way to end it on a nice, happy, positive, uplifting moment. And that's an awesome way to end the very first day of Saw Week. So, join me tomorrow when I discuss James Wan's second film after Saw, Dead Silence. Stay tuned. Please, I promise the next review will be a lot better.